Hello and welcome to the Farmer's Kitchen. Hello, Mrs. Farmer.
Mr. Farmer.
You're looking ravishing as usual.
That is so sweet. You're very handsome.
Oh, thank you very much. You know what? Tonight, we got some stuff that's just absolutely wonderful. When I was a kid, beans, soup beans.
You still love beans.
I still love beans.
Yes.
You know, for country folks, beans were a staple.
Oh, yeah.
Beans and cornbread. A couple years ago, I was up in the woods in the deer stand. So cold.
I
It
don't
was
like
freezing.
cold.
Hadn't had anything to eat, and I was sitting up there thinking, what would I like? And I thought, I want some bean with bacon soup. Now, not just soup beans. I'm talking
Right.
bean with bacon. When you're a kid, there's a very popular soup company, won't name their name here,
Right.
but I love their bean with bacon soup and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yummy.
Nothing like it.
That's right.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
You know exactly
I
what I'm
do.
talking about. So I came back here and I thought, I want to make that. Now, that's a long, drawn-out process.
Right.
So I thought, how can I have bean with bacon soup on demand without all the additives and preservatives
Right.
and all that stuff? And so I actually canned some. Here's some video of us a few years back canning bean with bacon soup,
So you had it ready on demand.
ready on demand.
That's right.
But I did the same thing today. I started thinking about bean with bacon soup. Didn't have any canned, but I thought, how can I do this on a fairly quick basis?
Because it's usually all day when you make it.
It's all day.
Yeah.
Now, we're not turning this into a pressure cooking show, but oh my goodness,
Made you happy, didn't it?
it made me so happy to know. Typically, when you do beans, it's a process. Some
Right.
people soak them overnight. I used to soak them overnight. Then I'd cook them for an hour. I would bring them to a boil, cover them, and then let them set. And then that starts the process of the cooking for hours
Right.
and seasoning as you go along.
And I'm always starving smelling that for hours.
She's starving.
That's right.
We've done soup beans over an open fire a long time
Yeah.
ago. I mean, like almost 10 years ago. Now, do you know if northern beans and navy beans are the same thing?
I do not.
They are not the same thing. A lot of
Okay.
people think they are. Now, they're interchangeable in recipes because they're about the same size, about the same shape. Navy beans are a little bit smaller, but they have more fiber than northern beans.
Really?
Yes, 19 grams of fiber per cup on the navy beans. Now, I like the northern beans because they cook up quicker.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do tonight, Mrs. Farmer?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to make bean with bacon soup in the pressure cooker. Now, what does pressure cooking do? It reduces your time, and it takes all those ingredients and puts under pressure, and all those flavors really bind together well, and you have this heavenly smell in your kitchen, and before you know it, you got wonderful stuff.
Can eat quicker. I like it.
So, Mrs. Farmer, I'm going to get this thing started.
Okay.
But tell us, there's nothing more Kentucky than what you're making right here.
Right.
What are you making tonight for dessert?
Well, it's an apple pie, but it's got bourbon in it. It's got raisins, cranberries, and pecans.
So apple bourbon pie
Yes.
tonight. Now the bourbon basically just soaks in the raisin and
Right.
cranberry.
Gives it a good flavor.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta have
I'm
dessert.
just telling you. You got this and you got this.
What more
and
do
then
you-
we're gonna make some cornbread in between because you gotta have cornbread
Yeah,
with
you
your
gotta have
beans.
cornbread.
So this is a good country show tonight, and let's get started, Mrs. Farmer.
Alrighty.
So we're gonna start right here.
All right.
I'll just chop that up a little bit for you.
Yeah, make it about 4 pieces. That'd be perfect.
Is that small enough, Mrs. Farmer?
Perfect. I'll do it in sections of 2.
Now that's a lot of onion. I'm gonna put most of that in there.
I like onion.
And those are chopped very finely. You don't have to have huge batches of onions. Now, Mrs. Farmer, I'm gonna start giving you some carrots. Now, we use 3 or 4 good-sized carrots because I like carrots, and I think they really accentuate the beans, and the sugar that's in the
do.
carrots really makes a nice, sweet, wonderful addition to our bean with bacon soup. Was that it, Mrs. Farmer?
Perfect. Look good?
Beautiful.
That was nice.
All right, so we have
Lots of carrots.
lots of carrots, lots of onions. Now I'm going to come back with some celery. We're going to do the same thing with some celery. And you can tell I'm not measuring here, but and let's say a half a cup of celery. So this is not just a bean soup per se. This is a wonderful vegetable soup.
Oh, yeah.
But really, if you look at bean with bacon soup, think about this. As you cook more and more, you're going to start analyzing things. You're going to go to a restaurant and you're going to say, "Ooh, is that thyme? What is that what is that smoky flavor? Ooh, what is that?
Yeah.
Then you start breaking that down, you bring that home and incorporate that into your own things. Let your tongue and your nose work together and come home and try these things. So I know there's the smoky flavor, I know there's the onion flavor, I know there's the celery flavor, so I'm gonna enhance that even more as we go along with our beans. Now the biggest pain when you're dealing with bean soup is getting your beans ready.
Right.
We're just gonna take these beans, we're gonna put them in a colander, and we're gonna rinse them. Any irregularities or anything that's not that good, we'll just pop it out. Just rinse that off real quick. So we have about 2 cups, a little over 2 cups of our northern beans. Not the same as navy beans.
That's right.
But close. We'll go ahead and put those in there, dry. Now, Mrs. Farmer, we have been saving our chicken broth, and we have right here about 5.5 to 6 cups. Now remember, you wanna have plenty of liquid in here because if that cooks down, you're gonna have a bunch of dry beans.
That's right, you don't want that.
So, what am I gonna flavor this with? Now remember I said the smoky flavor. You gotta get that smoky flavor. So one thing I'm gonna do right off the bat is take some liquid smoke hickory. I'm gonna pour that in there. I'm gonna put quite a bit because, you know, a little dab will do you, but I really want that smoky flavor to come out.
I smell that now.
Along with that,
what do you got there, like 6 pieces of bacon, 5 or 6?
about 6 pieces. I want a lot of bacon there.
Yeah.
Now I want these pieces cut up fairly small because it's gonna come floating to the top when we're done. And so our bacon goes. Boom, boom, boom. Now thank goodness old Glenn didn't get all our pepper.
Got a little bit left.
Got a little bit left. I like pepper a lot, and you
I
like
do
pepper
too.
a lot.
You can't.
So I'm gonna put a little more in there than you probably would. Then I'm gonna take any seasoning that has celery seed in it that you might like.
Yeah.
Use a additive or a salty flavoring that has celery seed. And I put this together myself. It's just got some onion powder, salt, a little bit of garlic, and some celery seed. Something else I like for most soups is thyme, and this is no different. I'm gonna put a little bit of thyme in here, some dried thyme. One other thing I'm gonna do, this may sound strange, but I'm gonna use some poultry seasoning that has paprika in it. Now you think about the salt.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be too salty. And you're gonna get some salt from your bacon. And I always, I've just got some chicken bouillon cubes here. Automatic, stocky
Right. Delicious.
flavor going on there. It adds so much. I'm gonna put 2 to 3 of the chicken bouillon cubes in here. With your regular bean soup, you don't have a reddish tomato puree in there.
Right.
You do in being with bacon soup. You have that tomato taste. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take our tomato paste, and then we're gonna take a little bit of ketchup as well. Now sweeten it up just a little bit. You'd be shocked to know how much sugar
It's in ketchup.
is in ketchup.
Yeah.
But I find that sweetness really bumps it up a notch. And there's something else when you're eating bean with bacon soup, and you may have seen this on our last week's show, the week before, just a little bit of red wine vinegar.
You like red wine
It's gonna get that
vinegar,
little tart taste that you get there. So we got everything in there, Mr. Farmer?
I think you do.
Now I wanna make sure these are done, so I'm gonna go about an hour, maybe an hour 5, hour 10 minutes on this thing. Let's think, soaking overnight, cooking 4 or 5 hours all day. It can be a 10, 12-hour process. 1 hour.
See how it does. I know it's gonna
1
be good.
hour. All right, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Mrs. Farmer,
Yes.
this is pure Kentucky.
Yes, it is.
This is good stuff. Now, we're not putting enough bourbon in here where you have to worry about driving.
We're gonna cook it. It's gonna
We're
cook.
gonna cook it
Yeah.
up. Just like a tablespoon. But let me tell you what, when these cranberries and raisins soak that up, oh, I'm telling you, this is out of this world. I'm gonna stand back and watch you put this scrumptious thing together. Where do you get started? On your apples?
Well, you know what? We're gonna get the cranberries. I actually have cranberries and I have raisins that we want
We're
to
gonna soak those.
I actually have more than you said, like a tablespoon. I have 4 tablespoons of bourbon, but like you said, it's gonna cook down because we need a tablespoon for each. I'll put a tablespoon on the raisins, put a tablespoon on the cranberries. Stir that up. Let that kind of soak in. The rest of this we're gonna save for on the apples. So now we have the Granny Smith apples.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it ourselves.
Best for pies.
Yes, and I'm gonna do 6 of these. All right, the most work was the apples. I got the 6 apples, and I put a little lemon juice. Grandma always said to do that to keep them from turning on you.
They turn quick.
Yes, and I like the flavor of the lemon. All right, now remember the 2 tablespoons we had left? We're gonna go ahead and pour those on the apples.
All right.
Stir that in a little bit. All right, I got 3/4 to almost a cup of sugar here.
All right.
2 tablespoons of flour.
Gotcha.
I have a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I put a little bit of nutmeg on there. I just kind of shook a little, maybe an 1/8. This is gonna go on our apples.
I think you've done this before, Mrs. Farmer.
I've done it a couple times. All right, I think I need a bigger bowl.
All right.
Because I'm gonna add all this stuff together here. So it's a little bit bigger. So we got our cinnamon. Get all this in here.
I'm kind of excited.
This
is a pure Kentucky meal, bean with bacon soup and bourbon apple pecan pie. Are you kidding me?
I know, I got the raisins.
With raisins and cranberries.
All right, I'm gonna use my chopper to cut these pecans. I got half a cup. Or you could buy them chopped. I like to chop them. It's fun.
Don't need electricity.
That's right.
Can we pour?
Go ahead and pour those in.
All of them?
Yes. And this is what we're gonna put in our pie. All right. And I've already got my pie shell ready.
All right.
A little earlier. And I've actually made a top for the pie too earlier that we're gonna go ahead and put on top. So let's go ahead and put this in. You know, something else I like to do too is put a little butter on top because Grandma used to do that. So I'm gonna grab some butter for that.
Grandmas are never wrong.
That's right. You wanna smooth that in and I'm gonna grab some butter.
You know, we love grandmas, not only because they're grandmas, because they're wise
That's right.
and they have been around the block, and I want to hear everything grandmas have to say. I want to hear everything grandpas have to say. I want their friendship. I want their kinship. I want to know everything about them.
Yes.
You know, if you have a grandparent, you need to sit down with them. You need to get a video camera, your phone, whatever,
Right.
and talk with them. Because so many times you think about your grandfather. When you were a kid running around, he wanted to tell
Right.
you stories about Greece.
Too busy.
Think about my grandfather when he was telling me stories about the farm. And I actually recorded some of my grandfather on a little
that's neat.
cassette tape.
Yeah.
Him talking about, he made up these fantastic stories. One of them was, they said he'd hook the tom turkey up to a wagon and he'd pull the kids to the market and back.
That'd be fun.
Now that was him telling tall tales, but we've got that on
Yeah.
tape somewhere. I
That's
hope I can
neat.
find that.
Well, that's something I remember her doing. I do remember some of her cooking that I paid
Butter.
attention to. Now I'm going to get my top pie shell.
You know what you need, Miss
What?
Farmer? One more piece of butter right there.
Do you think so? I
Yeah.
can do it.
Just one more piece.
A little bit butter. How's that?
That's beautiful.
All right.
That already smells delicious.
I know it. Let's put a top on it. I already
Let's
made
do it.
this. So I'm going to cover it. All right. There. Does that look good?
Oh, Miss Farmer, I'm excited.
I'll make a couple little
You know,
slits here.
vent it.
Yep. Let's get a couple little vent marks in here. Some people are fancy, but we'll just put them in here. We'll put an X in the middle. How's that?
Beautiful.
I got the oven at 425. And we're going to have to let this cook about 50 minutes. So it'll be ready maybe after we eat our
50
meats.
minutes.
50 minutes, yes.
Egg wash.
Yes. All right. Egg wash. I like to use the egg white.
Makes it nice and shiny.
Yeah.
Brown.
Get rid of that. And once you get that little brush out.
Brush.
Yeah. That's something she always did too. Kind of makes it pretty and glisten. All right. You can't help but have a little more sugar. I
That's
mean,
gonna be
it
pretty.
doesn't hurt. All right, because we can do what we want. There we go. I think it's
Beautiful.
ready.
Can we open the oven?
Yes, thank you.
Now, if you notice, we put that on the pan because pies are notorious for leaking out
Yes.
stuff on the bottom of the oven. All right, so we're gonna take a break, get this stuff cleaned up. Then we need to get our cornbread going. Now, I like my cornbread different times, different ways. There are so many people who are purists in their cornbread ways. Oh, you can't put sugar in it. Somebody the other day got really mad at me because they saw a recipe that I used. Mom would put sugar in her cornbread.
Yeah.
Well, you're not from Kentucky. I'm like, our family's been in Kentucky probably since it was Virginia.
Yeah.
If I want to use my mom's recipe and put a little sugar in there, I can do it. They're not going to kick me out of the state.
You do what you want.
Most of the time we do regular cornbread, no sugar. Tonight we're going to
What do you
do,
need?
we're going to put some chow chow in our cornbread. We're
that
going to put
sounds
some onions in our cornbread. We've done a variation of this before, but with these things in here and a little sugar, no, we won't get kicked out of the state. You might want to try it sometime.
Sure.
Because when you're eating it along with
Gotta have it.
your beans, it's fabulous.
Delicious.
All right, Mrs. Farmer. All right, now we're just going to make a basic cornbread recipe. Now here's just the basic recipe itself. If we follow our friend Sally's
Right.
method, here's her cornbread recipe. That's just the cornbread. Then we're going to tell you what we're going to add to it.
Okay, there's actually a 1.75 cups of plain cornmeal to
Okay.
start. We're gonna add an egg, and we're gonna add 1.5 cups of buttermilk.
Gotta have buttermilk.
That's right. The teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda.
Check.
Check, and then whatever else you want to add to that.
Then here's what we're gonna add to that. Once we get all the wet ingredients in, we're gonna take some of our green tomato relish. You can use Chow Chow, green tomato relish, whatever you want in beans, but you gotta have you gotta have some. I'm gonna put it in my soup beans too. Now think about this. Your soup beans are salty. And for those who have never tried a little sugar or a little something sweet in your cornbread, you mix that sweet with the salty, you've got magic. Now you can put regular cornbread in it too, but there is no law in Kentucky. I looked it up.
Okay.
All right, anyway, so back to our recipe. Go ahead and get everything mixed together, and I'm gonna put a little bit of my stuff in.
Alrighty.
So you put your egg, you put your dry ingredients in, and then I'm gonna put your buttermilk.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna take some onion, some sweet onion, and you talk about going well with this cornbread. And then you put a big slab of real butter on your cornbread, Mrs. Farmer. Guess who's happy?
Me.
I'm happy, you're happy, and Kelly's happy.
Want all these?
Yep. So we got some onions, got a little bit of green tomato relish. So you're gonna mix up in there. Oh, that's special. Now, for just a little heat to go along with our sweet, I'm gonna take some of these jalapeños and I'm gonna cut them up. These are pickled now. These are already ready to go. Miss Farmer, we're ready.
How about some sugar?
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit?
Just a tiny bit of sugar.
All right.
Just a tiny bit, Miss Farmer.
Let's mix
Not
it.
much at all. Just
right.
a tiny bit of sugar.
However much you
Remember,
think.
there's no law against it. You know, so many people are starting to get into cooking, and there are no rules.
Right.
If you like it and it's good for you, you knock yourself out. If you want to put salamanders in there,
You can do
you
it.
want to put toad frogs in there, you could do that.
That
There's
sounds
no
really yummy.
laws against it. I wouldn't do that. But you know what? Until you've tried something else, don't knock it. All right, let's do a switcheroo. Let's pour
Okay.
that in a pan,
Okay.
pull the pie out, and then put that in.
Sounds good.
We're getting close.
Yes, we are.
Look at that cornbread.
Yummy.
Look at the pie.
Yummy.
We ain't scared.
No, it smells good in here.
But you know what? We have a lot of musicians that are friends and a lot of folks who really add to our show,
Yeah.
such as the Moron Brothers. Connor Thomas, a great guitarist.
Oh, yeah.
We met a new friend that's absolutely wonderful. And she's going to sing us an old song. Her name is EmiSunshine. Listen to this wonderful traditional song and her wonderful version of it. EmiSunshine.
Tonight I'm sad and I'm in sorrow for the only one I love. And shall I see him? Oh, no, never till we meet in heaven above. Oh, bury me beneath the willow, under the weeping willow tree, so he may know where I am sleeping, and perhaps he'll weep for me. He told me that he did not love me. I could not believe it was true. And then an angel softly whispered, he has proven untrue to you. Oh, bury me beneath the willow, under the weeping willow tree, so he may know where I am sleeping, and perhaps he'll weep for me. Tomorrow was our wedding day. Oh, where can
I'm
I
excited.
put some fresh ground telecherry pepper.
That looks
now
so
this
good.
is now this is to be legal. You have to put some chow chow and you mix
Okay.
that up. Now it's also acceptable to take a big old piece of cornbread and break up in here.
Okay.
That's what I did as a kid. Or you can chase it with the cornbread.
I like to chase
You
it.
wanna chase
I
it?
want to chase it.
Mrs. Farmer, you want me to mix the
Yes.
chow chow in there for you?
I'm going to put the butter all over here.
Excuse me, that is green tomato relish, which is about the same as chow chow.
Can I try?
You can. Bean with bacon soup.
Wow.
See the carrots
That's
in
so
there?
good. It's nice and thick. That's delicious.
It's one of my favorite things to eat as a kid.
Take a piece
I'm
of
gonna take a
cornbread.
big old hunk and bite of this cornbread right here.
I'll take a bite of that too. That's
Taste
so
the
good.
chow chow,
And yes,
the onions,
and then a little
and
hot bite.
little
It's
heat.
good.
Oh. This is absolutely delicious.
That is. I can
It's
eat a lot.
absolutely wonderful.
That is so good.
Mrs. Farmer, we're gonna eat the fire of this in a minute, but I got to have a piece of that pie.
I would like some pie too.
Cut us a piece, if you will. All right, Mrs. Farmer, I'm excited,
I'm too.
to say the least. You go ahead.
Oh wow.
You did all the work. Look at
You
that.
got me.
That almost looks like mincemeat.
I like that. Is that good or what?
Oh,
Wow. That's delicious. Oh, I can't stop on this.
oh. Mrs. Farmer, that's ridiculous.
With the bourbon in it and the nuts.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Oh, oh,
All right. My new favorite dessert.
wow.
Ooh,
That's
get-
really good, Mrs. Farmer.
Yes.
You know what? We get excited about food. We can't help it. But that's fabulous. And it's healthy, Mrs. Farmer, because it's got apples in it.
Yeah, it is.
An apple a day
And raisins.
keeps all the doctors away.
Yes, it does.
So this is a good country meal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I know where to find lots of good Kentucky country meals, Mrs. Farmer. Where would that be?
TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com.
You're kidding me.
No, that's where I go all the time.
A gazillion recipes.
There are.
And if you like it, hit subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
That way, anything new that comes out, you're the first to know.
Yeah.
And our Facebook page. It's tough to get on there,
Yes,
Mrs.
it
Farmer.
is.
How do you do it?
You hit like.
And that's it. We love our Facebook friends. We share recipes. We
Mm-hmm.
share fun. We share our critters. We go out and take pictures of the farm sometimes, so come join us over there. And remember, it's all about
Good times,
good friends.
good eats.
We'll see you next week on Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen.
I don't know where to go.
To order a cookbook, email timfarmerck@gmail.com.